Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Footy Show. What a great crowd in tonight. Well, a very big week in football. Collingwood president embroiled in controversy. Is he biased? Do we want to work with him? Will we work with him? He'll be in late. Ooh, always get worried when that chair's empty. Never know what's going to happen. Anyhow, other great things and big news that's happened in the football world this week is...
Rioli.
Yep. Dean Rioli, suspended for 3 weeks by the tribunal for eye gouging.
Plugger.
Tony Lockett, back playing for the Swans this week on the weekend. Kenny Hackett and other big things. Let's get on with the show. Let's introduce the panel. One of 14 Buckleys to played football, AFL/VFL, Nathan Buckley, the Collingwood captain. How are you, mate? Go, baby, give us a kiss. And a man, I was at his testimonial on Saturday night, who said to a girl on the table that I was with, he said, if they say you are what you eat, I'll be you by the morning. Shane Crawford, ladies and gentlemen. And a man, the Ox, contributing 1 of 5 Zs in the surnames of players playing for the Melbourne Football Club this weekend, David Schwartz. Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Sit down and relax.
Just sit down and relax, ladies and gentlemen.
No, you sit down and relax.
Oh, me sit down and relax. All right, I will. Ladies and gentlemen, the president of the Collingwood Football Club, a man under the pump. Give him a big round of applause. Logie Award-winning, done everything in football, Eddie Maguire.
Big week in football, and it's been fantastic for my family to join me in the audience tonight. Good to see them all here. Ladies and gentlemen, over behind the bar as usual, just to bring a bit of sensibility to the show, Trevor Marmalade.
No, sit down, really. I don't know who to start on. Unbelievable. You've had a good week, mate, haven't you? Now, for the bagging you've copped, you know what you should have done? Rocker goes back, he kicks, it's a goal! There's the siren! Cut the file footage of the Collingwood players singing the song.
Mate, if I had any influence, that's what would have happened. It was unbelievable, wasn't it?
Oh, it was, mate. And your players, they got spat on. Is that right? What's happening down there, mate? You saw you for breach of copyright, eh?
Exactly.
And, mate, what about the great man over here? He's had a big week, Crackers Keener. We sorted that out.
We haven't actually sorted that out.
I can tell you, Sammy, Crackers is deciding he's not sure whether to hire a lawyer or a plumber, just at the minute. And what else you done? You've caused the canteen to walk off here at Channel 9 after last week.
Yep.
You who was like the food connoisseur, a man who spent a total of, what, 5 minutes in the restaurant business? Well, I actually went to your restaurant, Sammy. Yeah, I did go to Sammy's restaurant.
Yeah.
How was the service down there? Fair dinkum. The food waitress wouldn't bring the food, the drink waitress wouldn't bring the drinks, and the head waitress was in the bathroom with Sammy.
Now, Ed, you've taken a bit of a pounding this weekend by our friends on other networks. But I tell you what, we've never, ever done, Ed. Since we've never plagiarised people's ideas. And I think it is ill behoves people on another station who, when we originally started the Footy Show 9 years ago, we actually had a pilot of a show that we were going to put to air. And I think this is before Ernie Sigley and Harvey Silver decided that they'd create the Footy Show and take all the credit for it. But this is what we were going to do before the Footy Show.
This is for a Monday night show,
This is from Monday night show. This was being plagiarised by the Seven Network, and this is what we were going to do 10 years ago.
Animal, vegetable, mineral, talking footy.
Hello and welcome to Animal, Vegetable or Mineral. So many things to get through tonight. And to help me speak shit, Bill Brownless. Bill, what got you excited on the weekend?
Hi, Sam. Look, it was fantastic the way Essendon would go back and flood the Blues' defensive 50 through the corridor to greatly affect the Carlton's kick-in strategy.
Gee, that is exciting. And as always, we're joined by the chief football writer for the War Cry, Barb Carlson. Barb, what was your highlight on the weekend?
Cooter.
What are you looking forward to tonight?
Cooter.
And what's your favourite fish?
Barracuda.
Well, I don't know about you, but I can hardly wait for Barb's famous last question. She's in sparkling form already. A break, and then Collingwood President Alan McAllister. I can't wait. I can't wait for it. It'll be fantastic.
They've taken you to task, Ed. They've taken you to task. These people who have had their day in the sun, but the sun's gone down on them forever, I've got a feeling, and they're desperately clinging to something. I'm not sure what it is. I don't think football's ever been in better hands, and I think the AFL are just starting to realise that, and the mob over there can't believe how badly they've done it and do it still.
Having said that, I do take on board the criticisms that people have made, and we'll take it into calculations as we go forward. There was one part of the week's extravaganza that did get me a little bit upset, and that was there was a story that Caroline Wilson actually did called Maguire Kills AFL Poll. Now, I mean, I explained to Caroline exactly what happened in that situation, and it was, I didn't ask for the AFL to pull the poll off air. The poll was, by the way, was my call over the top, or was it biased, or anyway, it was on the AFL.com. What I did was I rang the AFL about a totally different topic. Tony Peake, who is their communications manager, and also Ben Buckley, who's their marketing manager, and I have been talking over the last few weeks, looking at the websites, trying to make sure they really fire up, because for each club gets a dividend if there's more hits on a particular website. So it's very important to the club's finances. And we've been talking over the last few weeks about how there have been some very stupid types of questions on there, given the fact that these websites are there to promote clubs. It's not the Age or the Herald Sun. They're there to promote the clubs. That's what they're there for. And like there was a question on the Swans website last week, should Rodney Eade get the sack? According to the AFL, I didn't see it myself. Now, I'd got a phone call from Tony Jones and a number of other people saying, have you seen the website? And look, I didn't care about the question because everyone in town had been talking and debating whether my call was biased or over the top. I said to Tony Peake, do you think it's inappropriate that this question is actually sponsored by Channel 10? And Channel 10's logo was on it. That was all I said. And Tony Peake said, oh, you're kidding, aren't you? Leave it with us, we'll go down and sort this out. Because there has been a lot of angst, if you like, about some of the questions that have been on the site. Now, you know, I'm a journo. The last thing in the world I'm going to do is say, pull these things off. I'm not into censorship of any type, okay? Now, I got angry when the AFL officials at AFL.com leaked the story deliberately and leaked it in a way that said that I pulled the poll off, because that just goes against everything that I stand for as far as journalism's concerned. Now, you know, people can say, well, I've been getting leaks from the AFL for 100 years. That's all very, and that's right, I do, and that's what I do for a living. But, you know, that doesn't mean that I have to stand back and not look at this. Now, it wasn't a leak, it was an ill-informed leak, and I was disappointed that that part wasn't emphasised. And I'm talking footy, it was actually cropped out of the shot that they used.
Oh,
and lies by omission are lies just the same. And it's actually the first thing in the Australian Journalists Association Code of Ethics, and believe it or not, there is one, actually states that you've got to disclose all information, particularly if it gives a jaundiced view of a particular story. So we're disappointed on that one. And there's another story just on the top here about club chiefs doubt Demetrio. That I was in this meeting. That wasn't the case at all. Some of the club presidents met for a lunch, an informal lunch. It came up that Wayne Jackson may retire at the end of the year. Somebody said who would be the logical successor, Andrew Demetrio, and it was tossed around who else would be up if that position came vacant. So it wasn't to say that the clubs are out to get Andrew Demetrio is stretching it by a fair way.
Desperately clinging to a dream that's turned into a nightmare, you reckon, Ed, those people.
But I don't care because the truth has come out in support of me. There you go. Go steady on, Eddie, it says. So there you go. Don't worry about the old age or anything like that, or Channel 7. The truth are in my corner.
The big story's on page 3 there, though, isn't it?
I'm sorry, mate?
The big story of the truth's on page 3, I think.
Well, apparently.
Absolutely. You should have said the way they stick up for you on page 3, mate. Rather unequivocal, I think you've done.
And just incidentally, someone asked me, did you ask me about, you asked me about Crackers King. Now, we spoke in strong terms about a bloke called Keenan last week, and that man would know exactly why I spoke about him like I did. But I'll say this, Peter, if you are watching, if you would like to come on this show or any other show, or even a show that you run, and debate what it is you're on about and what I was on about, you'd be very welcome if you can string a number of words together and think you're capable, of coming on here and debating what I was on about and what you're on about, or you can send a representative in to do it.
All right, okay.
And you would know exactly what I mean, and those big cow eyes.
Oh, okay. Well, it's already... all right, before we go to the teams, can I just make one... I don't want to defend McCall one more time, but just a lot of people have been talking about it. 2 incidents were pulled out and used on Talking Football. One was when Anthony Rocker took a big mark, kicked a goal, and one when Stewie Dew put Port Adelaide back in front. Just for a technical reason, I'll explain for a couple of reasons, right? Obviously, I'm the Collingwood president, love Collingwood, was very keen for the Maggies to win, okay? All right, we all know that. When Anthony Rocker took the mark, he jumped all over the bloke, nearly killed him, took a screamer, went back 55, 60 metres out, put it through. It bends about 15 metres in the air. Collingwood hit the front after coming from 6 goals down at quarter time for the first time in the night.
It was great.
There was no noise from the audience, from the crowd, right? Because they're all Port Adelaide supporters. There's 700,000 people in Melbourne watching the game, a lot of them Collingwood supporters, so you give it the extra bit. It wouldn't matter if it was Collingwood or if it was Hawthorn or Melbourne over at Port Adelaide. When Port Adelaide kicked the goal, what we do, because Channel 9 actually have put microphones all around the place, is, and I've done this for years on Triple M radio station, you let the crowd effects tell the story. Now put it in context. One bloke's just taken a screamer and kicked the ball out of sight. Stewie Dew got a free kick, which was replayed, doubtful, no question, let it go. I didn't say it was doubtful, but the other guys did. I thought it was a disgrace. But Dermot Gary said, who was it? No, Dermot Gary said that, right? So he goes back, he's 35 metres out, so he kicks the goal. You let the crowd tell the story because the whole place erupted, they're back in front, and then I built it up as the ball was going back to the centre. So I think that was a little bit naughty, the way that one has been, those 2 incidents have been pulled out of context.
Dermot was on fire?
What about when there was 4 seconds left, Ed, and you said there's still a chance?
Yeah, no, then I was hoping. I was grasping at straws at that stage, Buck, I must admit.
Anyhow, it was a meritorious broadcast. Dermot was on fire. He said when someone was shooting for goal, this is verbatim off the television, tough kick from here. The breeze nearly always pushes the ball away from the centre of the goal. Just got to go a little bit past, but if for some strange reason you go too far past the centre to the left with this shot, it will keep going that way. To which Dennis Cometti said, I'm confused.
All right. Actually, just before we get stuck into the footy, and the first game we're looking at is tomorrow night's big game at the MCG Kangaroos in Essendon. Michael Roberts is with us from National 9 News, and of course Robbo does a great job with us with the AFL footy. And Mickey's been down at the tribunal for the cricket tonight. Adam Gilchrist, it has got a football theme because he was talking at the President's Lunch at Carlton last week. You got in a bit of trouble about the spinner from India, Muralitharan. What happened tonight, Robbo?
It started at 5 o'clock, Ed. Adam Gilchrist was up in Sydney and James Sutherland, the ACB chief executive, was down here in Melbourne. Taken 4 hours to actually just reprimand the Australian vice-captain on his damning comments of the Sri Lankan
You said he was a
spinner.
chucker, didn't you?
Well, what he's done is he's thrown balls into the crowd on the weekend. He's kicked the footies into the crowd. And he's gone up, had a bit of a lunch, He's spoken on radio and television. He's thought, well, we'll give the people something to hang their hat on, which he's done. It's probably been a throwaway comment, and he's copped it. But he's for 4 hours.
He called him a chucker, though, didn't
he? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So 4 hours and he got a reprimand.
He got a reprimand.
No.
So the vice, hopefully it doesn't tarnish his squeaky clean image, Ed.
No, shouldn't either. All right, let's get on with the game.
One thing with that is, I mean, we've got a fellow panellist over here who speaks his mind all the time, and I think someone came out and backed Gilchrist saying that if you can't say what you actually think, well, then all you're going to say is a lie.
Yeah.
And we don't want our sportsmen getting to that stage.
No, you wouldn't want people to just react naturally in front of a camera, would you? No, you'd hate to have that.
Oh, dear.
Let's move on. Ken